On Wednesday, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi held a press briefing alongside the congressional delegation that recently traveled to the Indo-Pacific region. During this visit, the House Speaker visited Taiwan, to the ire of China. China retaliated by carrying out large-scale military drills around the island. One member of the delegation, Representative Mark Takano, praised the trip overall, saying they visited, quote, very, very robust, inspiring democracies. He noted that many countries said they did not want the U.S. to force them to choose sides between the United States and China. However, those countries also expressed interest in the U.S. being a security partner and help with military armaments.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We kind of call each other Mr. Chairman all the time. When we first became chairman, we were just so thrilled in 2018. Yeah. Mr. Chairman. So good afternoon. I am Mark Takano. I chair the Veterans Affairs Committee, and I was honored to attend this congressional delegation, be a part of the congressional delegation with Speaker Pelosi and our colleagues here today. And while we were abroad, there was interest with our defense security allies and partners. Some are allies and some are partners. Interesting enough, we visited all very, very robust, inspiring democracies. Some of those democracies have a quote-unquote balanced approach with China. They don't really want the United States to force them to choose sides. But interesting enough, even those that don't want to be forced to choose sides are very, very, very interested in the United States being their security partner. We help them with military armaments and training and training together. And of course, they were interested in what we do with our veterans. I had a long, extensive talk with the defense minister of Malaysia on that topic. I had a chance to speak with, for a second time, with the minister for veterans and patriots of South Korea. We're very interested in moving forward more work on the Korean Valor Act, which was included in the recently passed fiscal 23 NDAA. The Valor Act was passed there, and it has to, I don't want to get into the details yet, but it has to do with naturalized Korean American veterans from the Vietnam War era and how we can serve them better here in the States. We had a chance to, wherever we could, bring up the issue of human rights, but also I believe that the health of any, when we visit all democracies, that the health of any democracy is measured by how well it protects its vulnerable minorities, in contrast to the authoritarian countries that Mr. Meeks mentioned. And so we raised the issue of how well are your vulnerable minorities being treated, as well, including LGBTQ people. So we raise that in countries where that topic is not necessarily one that's very comfortable. But interesting enough, I think there was actually a willingness to talk and a willingness to discuss those things. Just last night, as an after effect of this CODEL, I was on a virtual discussion, a virtual interparliamentary discussion with Japanese and Korean parliamentarians from the South Korean Assembly and leaders of the Japanese Diet. Amazing. The impact of this trip was very evident. Huge openness to moving forward the trilateral alliance among Japan, the United States, and Korea. So very, very important with regard to the Taiwan Straits issue, and having our countries work more closely together. One of the things that came out of that discussion last night is all of us are calling upon our heads of state to get a summit of the three nations to happen. And that's one of the things that I think is an after effect of this trip, is that there's this huge openness that I see. And while it's not direct, I'm not talking about Taiwan so much, but really this trilateral alliance is really so important in terms of our being able to provide a space for Taiwan, to exist in the status quo. We're looking to, and it's China's who has challenged the status quo.